You're terrified of the parts of yourself you refuse to look at. And that fear is destroying you from the inside out. You know that anger you buried? It's still there. That shame you never dealt with? It's making decisions for you. Most men walk around pretending they're good, noble, in control. But deep down, there's a part of you that's selfish, aggressive, destructive, dark. And because you won't face it, it owns you. It shows up when you snap at people you love, when you sabotage your own success, when you lie to yourself and call it discipline. The Stoics had a word for this: living in denial. Marcus Aurelius said, "Confess to yourself what you are, not what you want to be, what you actually are." Because the shadow you deny doesn't disappear. It grows, and it waits. Here's the truth. The strongest men aren't the ones who pretend they have no darkness. They're the ones who stare into it and take control. This is about facing the parts of yourself you've been running from, not to destroy them, but to master them. Every man has a shadow. The warrior knows his. Your shadow is everything you don't want to admit about yourself. Your jealousy, your pride, your rage, your cowardice. You think if you ignore these things, they'll go away. They won't. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And nothing haunts a man more than the parts of himself he refuses to see. When you deny your shadow, it controls you. It whispers in your weakest moments. It makes you defensive, reactive, small. But when you face it, when you look at it and say, "Yes, this is part of me," you take its power away. Think about the last time you overreacted, got angry for no real reason, felt bitter about someone else's success. That wasn't random. That was your shadow speaking. And you didn't recognize it because you've spent years pretending it doesn't exist. The Stoics trained themselves to examine their thoughts without judgment. Every night, Marcus Aurelius reviewed his day, not to punish himself, but to see himself clearly. He asked, "Where did I act from fear? Where did I lose control? Where did I lie to myself?" Most men never ask these questions. They live their whole lives blind to their own patterns. Here's what you do instead. Sit with your shadow. Write down the thoughts you're ashamed of, the ones you'd never say out loud. I resent my brother's success. I get satisfaction when people fail. I'm afraid people will see I'm not as strong as I pretend to be. Don't run from these. Don't justify them. Just see them. Because once you see your shadow, it stops controlling you. When was the last time you were truly honest with yourself about who you are? Not who you want to be, who you are right now. Most men will never answer that. Will you? Every man has a shadow. The warrior knows his. Your shadow is everything you don't want to admit about yourself. Your jealousy, your pride, your rage, your cowardice. You think if you ignore these things, they'll go away. They won't. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And nothing haunts a man more than the parts of himself he refuses to see. When you deny your shadow, it controls you. It whispers in your weakest moments. It makes you defensive, reactive, small. But when you face it, when you look at it and say, "Yes, this is part of me," you take its power away. Think about the last time you overreacted, got angry for no real reason, felt bitter about someone else's success. That wasn't random. That was your shadow speaking. And you didn't recognize it because you've spent years pretending it doesn't exist. The Stoics trained themselves to examine their thoughts without judgment. Every night, Marcus Aurelius reviewed his day, not to punish himself, but to see himself clearly. He asked, "Where did I act from fear? Where did I lose control? Where did I lie to myself?" Most men never ask these questions. They live their whole lives blind to their own patterns. Here's what you do instead. Sit with your shadow. Write down the thoughts you're ashamed of, the ones you'd never say out loud. I resent my brother's success. I get satisfaction when people fail. I'm afraid people will see I'm not as strong as I pretend to be. Don't run from these. Don't justify them. Just see them. Because once you see your shadow, it stops controlling you. When was the last time you were truly honest with yourself about who you are? Not who you want to be, who you are right now. Most men will never answer that. Will you? The man who hides his rage becomes its slave. You've been taught that certain emotions are bad, that anger is weakness, that aggression is toxic. So you bury it. You smile when you're furious. You say, "I'm fine," when you're burning inside. And you think that makes you disciplined. It doesn't. It makes you a pressure cooker. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And you can't master what you refuse to acknowledge. Suppressed anger doesn't make you peaceful. It makes you passive-aggressive, resentful, eventually explosive. Suppressed fear doesn't make you brave. It makes you paralyzed. The Stoics didn't teach suppression. They taught integration. They looked at their emotions, understood them, and decided what to do with them. Anger isn't the problem. Unexamined anger is. Marcus Aurelius felt anger. He acknowledged it. Then he chose not to act from it. That's mastery. Think about a warrior training with a blade. He doesn't pretend the blade isn't dangerous. He respects its edge. He learns to wield it. Your shadow emotions are the same. Anger, aggression, pride. These aren't weaknesses. They're tools. But only if you control them instead of letting them control you. Here's what integration looks like. You feel anger rising. You don't deny it. You don't lash out. You pause. You observe it. You ask, is this anger useful right now? Or is it my ego reacting? Then you decide. That's the difference between a boy and a man. A boy is controlled by his emotions. A man controls his response to them. Most men spend their lives either exploding or suppressing, never integrating. The ones who integrate, they become dangerous, in the best way, focused, calm, unstoppable. Comment below, what emotion are you tired of pretending you don't feel? The flaw you deny becomes your Achilles heel. You know your weakness. Everyone does. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's insecurity. Maybe it's fear of being alone. And you've spent years building walls around it, hiding it, overcompensating for it. But here's the problem. The thing you hide is the thing your enemies will exploit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your weakness isn't the problem. Your refusal to face it is. When you hide your weakness, it controls everything. You make decisions to protect it. You avoid situations that might expose it. You become predictable, defensive, fragile. But when you face it, when you say, yes, I'm afraid of failure, yes, I crave validation, yes, I'm insecure, you stop being a slave to it. Look at every great Stoic. They were brutally honest about their flaws. Seneca admitted he struggled with anger his entire life. He didn't hide it, he studied it, he wrote about it, and he learned to manage it. That honesty made him stronger than men who pretended they had no anger at all. Think about your biggest insecurity, the one you protect at all costs. Now imagine what your life would look like if you stopped protecting it, if you just admitted it and moved forward anyway. You'd stop wasting energy on defense. You'd start using that energy for offense. Here's the exercise. Identify your biggest weakness, the one that makes you uncomfortable just thinking about. Now expose it, not to the world, to yourself. Say it out loud. I am afraid of being rejected. I am desperate for approval. I am insecure about my intelligence. Feel how much power it loses the moment you name it. The Stoics believed that fear grows in darkness. Bring it into the light and it shrinks. Your weakness is only dangerous when you pretend it doesn't exist. Face it, own it, then build around it. What's the one flaw you've been hiding your whole life? Drop it in the comments. No one's judging. We're all carrying something. Lying to yourself is worse than lying to anyone else. Lying to yourself is worse than lying to anyone else. You tell yourself stories, justifications, excuses. I'm not jealous, I just think he doesn't deserve it. I'm not angry, I'm just passionate. I'm not afraid, I'm just being cautious. Every one of those is a lie, and you know it. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." As long as you lie to yourself, you can't grow. Self-deception is the most insidious form of weakness, because it makes you feel strong while keeping you weak. You think you're protecting yourself. You're actually imprisoning yourself. The Stoics practiced radical honesty, not just with others, with themselves. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations for anyone else. He wrote them for himself, as a mirror. He forced himself to see his own flaws, his own failures, his own contradictions. Because he knew that the moment you start lying to yourself, you stop being free. Think about the last time you failed at something. What did you tell yourself? Did you admit you didn't prepare enough? Or did you blame circumstances? Did you own your mistake? Or did you rationalize it? Most men choose the lie because the truth hurts. But here's what the Stoics understood: short-term pain, long-term strength. You feel the sting of truth today, but you grow from it tomorrow. You choose the comfort of a lie today, but you stay weak forever. Here's the practice. Every time you catch yourself making an excuse, stop. Ask, is this true, or is this what I want to be true? If it's the second one, correct it, out loud if you have to. I didn't fail because of bad luck. I failed because I wasn't prepared. I'm not frustrated with him. I'm frustrated with myself. That level of honesty is brutal. It's also the only way forward. Self-deception is easy. Truth is hard. But only one of them sets you free. Most men will read this and do nothing. They'll nod along and keep lying to themselves. Are you one of them? Your darkness, controlled, becomes your power. Every weakness you face and integrate becomes a weapon. The man who masters his anger becomes unshakable in conflict. The man who masters his fear becomes courageous in chaos. The man who masters his pride becomes humble in victory and resilient in defeat. The Stoics didn't believe in eliminating your nature. They believed in directing it. Marcus Aurelius was a warrior emperor. He had rage, he had aggression, he had the capacity for cruelty, but he channeled it into discipline, into leadership, into justice. That's what it means to master your shadow, not to destroy it, to wield it. Think about fire. Uncontrolled, it burns everything. Controlled, it forges steel. Your shadow is the same. Your aggression, channeled, becomes assertiveness. Your pride, channeled, becomes self-respect. Your fear, channeled, becomes caution and preparation. But only if you face it first. Here's the final step. Take the parts of yourself you've been ashamed of, the anger, the ego, the insecurity, and ask, how can I use this? Not, how do I get rid of this? That's denial. That's suppression. How do I use this? If you're angry, use it to fuel discipline, to push harder in training, to stand up when you've been silent. If you're prideful, use it to hold yourself to a higher standard, to refuse mediocrity. If you're afraid, use it to prepare, to think ahead, to move carefully but not cowardly. The Stoics turned their flaws into philosophy, their struggles into strength. You can do the same, but only if you stop running. Face your shadow, name it, master it. Then watch it become the foundation of everything strong in you. What strength is hiding inside the weakness you've been ashamed of? Think about it. Here's the truth most men won't hear. You're not hiding your shadow from the world. You're hiding it from yourself. And every day you do that, you stay weak. The Stoics didn't become great by pretending they had no flaws. They became great by staring into their flaws and saying, I see you. Now, fall in line. So here's the challenge. Tonight, before you sleep, sit alone. No phone, no distractions. Write down one truth about yourself you've been avoiding. Just one. Not the version you want to be, the version you are. Then decide, are you going to keep running from it, or are you going to master it? Because the moment you face your shadow is the moment you stop being controlled by it. The choice is yours. Most men will ignore this. They'll go back to pretending, to hiding, to staying small. But you're not most men. Are you? Don't deny your shadow. Face it.